uppercut, left hook, right hook. Have you had enough? Falling to the floor, hit me with a sucker punch. No, he's not gonna make y'all on the sucker punch. No, he's not getting back up. Uppercut, left hook, right hook.
Hey everyone, welcome to the newest episode of On That Note with Parker Whirling. I'm incredibly excited to introduce to you my next guest. He blends elements of rap, punk, and electronic music to create a sound that is truly his own. His new song and video for MDMA is out right now, and my favorite song, Sucker Punch, is truly one of the best songs I've heard in a long time. Before we get this episode started, please make sure to like and subscribe to this podcast on Spotify, YouTube, and Apple Podcasts. And on that note, please welcome Josh Mason. I'm sitting here with Josh Mason for an episode of On That Note. Thank you for joining me, especially because in about 7 hours, you're going to have MDMA, your newest single, out for the public. I got to hear a sneaky peek of it, thankfully, and it's really awesome. It was really cool to hear such a different sounding song compared to the last two that you've released pretty recently, Sucker Punch and Man on Fire. So congratulations for it being out. By the time people hear this, MDMA will be out, so go spin it now. It's a great kind of EDM club beat, and then there's this beautiful beat switch right in the middle of it. And I wanted to ask you, how do you feel about this song compared to your other two releases, Sucker Punch, Man on Fire? Do you feel like you had any kind of different process going into it?
Thank you for having me first.
Of course, man.
Yeah, I mean, during that, we were just making like a ton of shit, and I usually have like a bunch of like phrases and names written down in my notes app. So I think we were just working one day, and I had MDMA, and we had tried to make the song like 2 times before, and it just turned out pretty shit, honestly. And then we finally hit this one, and it was like, whoa. Because I wanted a song that felt like the name MDMA. I don't know, I don't do drugs, so I don't really know exactly what it feels like to do MDMA, but the phrase, at least, I think it feels like the phrase. Yeah, the other two, my friends had sent me like guitar loops and stuff that we had used, and I don't know, I just wanted to switch it up because my album has like a bunch of different sounds on it and shit, so this is just another taste of what'll come.
Yeah, that's interesting that you say that, because having listened to those 3 songs in particular now, I listened to your other stuff, but for some reason, Man on Fire, Sucker Punch, and MDMA, they all kind of have this cohesive element to it, but they do sound very different. Like MDMA is definitely more of like an EDM club beat, so I was kind of surprised to hear that. And I love that you mess with a lot of kind of duality between harsh noises and all of a sudden really soft piano parts.
Yeah, that was a big thing for like the whole record, is like finding beauty in chaos, like the moments of chaos, and we really wanted to hammer that down, because for like most of the tracks and shit, it's like really in your face and whatnot, and like loud, but I gotta give them a couple seconds to breathe every now and then, you know what I'm saying?
Are these 3 songs part of a forthcoming album that you may be having coming out soon?
Yes, Josh Mason Superstar is my record. It should be out in a month or 2 now. I'm very excited.
So how's it been recording that compared to maybe some of your previous releases?
I mean, with this one, I was like, I didn't settle for anything. Whereas in the past, there have been limitations because I don't like produce all the shit or like mix it all. So some of my ideas and my capabilities were limited to those of like other people. And working with Riley, who produced like this whole record, he's a genius. I can say like 3 words, and then he can just like make a beat that sounds like that, like the most random 3 words. And So yeah, a lot of it, he's a genius. It's crazy working with him, and I think this is definitely like my most mature body of work, because all the music that I've put out before, I was like 17, 18 when I put out my last album, and I'm like 21 now. So I've done a lot of living
Yeah.
in those 3, 4 years, right? That was a big thing, and actually I had a version of this record. Like I had a whole nother album before this, the same name and everything. And when I sent it to people to get feedback, just didn't really get the response I was looking for. So I just made like a whole new record,
Wow. So you scrapped a whole album before
a
this one.
whole album. I didn't really do that on purpose. We would just like keep making new songs, and then like one by one, the old songs would just be gone.
Gotcha. So between that album and this album, and with all the living you've done in the 4 years between 17 and 21, uh, what do you feel like is so different about this new one compared to what you scrapped?
Much more confident, much more expressive and emotive. Yeah, the last one, it just felt kind of like flat. Like my voice was just like the same all the way throughout. The beats and the mixes were just flat. And this one is, like I said, really in your face. There's a lot of emotion. I think you could hear that in my voice. I really tried to stress that with all these new tracks. Um, and the production, obviously, is because the record we made before was produced by like a different person. I don't. Riley might have had like one track on there. Now he produced like all of these new ones, and we did it together too. We did it over Skype together.
Wow.
Every song on the record, yeah.
So working with Riley, the musician, I noticed you've done a lot of tracks with him. What would you recommend somebody who's looking for a collaborative partner? Like, what kind of attributes should somebody's collaborative partner have if you're trying to make music with somebody? Because it can be really hard to find people that you gel with.
For sure, yeah. I think like that's been the most important thing for me, like making music, has been creating relationships with like other artists and producers and stuff. And I think like I don't know, me and Riley became so close even like before we were making music together. Me and him were like best friends. And then we started to make music and everything, right? So he knows me and like what I'm looking for, and we've made so many shit songs too before we finally got to a good one. It just took time, really building that relationship and that friendship, um, and then our minds became one. Honestly,
That seems to be a pretty consistent theme I've noticed having interviewed the people I have at this point. Two things that you said is one, a lot of people, if you are collaborating with somebody, usually they're friends first. Like, even if they didn't know each other for a long time, like the friendship is there more importantly than the music. Not to say the music isn't important, but to be able to have that backbone, I guess, of knowing that this person has your back, literally. Like they're going to make sure that your stuff is not going to sound like shit, and you don't want them to be disappointed with what you bring to the table as well, because you want to make them proud.
exactly.
Yeah, and also, shit, I forgot what you said. Uh, oh yeah, and just like your songs at first you said they kind of sounded like shit. Like you have to be able to fail in order to to grow, because if you don't fail, you're not trying really at all. Like you have to be comfortable with being a fool at first.
For sure. Yeah, like I said, I made a whole album and people like thought it was cool, but it was like, nah, that's not what I wanted. I want people to like fucking explode over it, right? So I was pretty sad. I was kind of bummed. I was like, I didn't know what I was gonna do now, and then me and Riley started making shit, and then it just kept coming and coming, and the confidence came up, and then I was pretty mad and upset too with just like everything that was going on. So I was like, okay, let's express this in like a in your face way, right? Like how Sucker Punch is or Man on Fire, better example. That's kind of the theme of the whole thing. I hope that you'd be able to hear my um, like the anger and passion in my voice throughout this record.
When listening to Sucker Punch, which is my favorite song, no doubt, I can't tell you how many times I've listened to it like in less than a week since I first heard it. It's crazy. It's very euphoric and abrasive at the same time. So I'm really curious, like, what was the seed of that song? Like, where did it start?
I think again too, I just had the phrase "sucker punch" like written in my notes app, and then I was like, I don't know, let's try something like a bit faster and kind of like punky, even though it's not really a punk song, whatever, but like an abrasive track, and that too, like I we started that idea in October, or no, sorry, December 2019, and we had a version of it like mixed and mastered the end of that month, and it was just like flat, and the vocals were not as emotive as I would have liked. So we just like kept on working on, because we knew the idea was there and it could be really cool. We just needed to see it to its fullest potential, I think. So then we took months and we ended up finishing that. But like, yeah, like the inspiration behind that too, I guess, is my love for punk music, and the theme of like beauty and chaos, like the last hook at the end when everything just like drops out and there's just like these beautiful strings that come in. I just wanted to give people a moment to breathe again.
Yeah, you do a great job, especially in that song with, like I said, creating kind of a euphoric feeling. But I mean, it's so in your face, like you said, like in the mixing of all these songs. Like, that's funny that you say that your vocals felt flat on, some songs on the other album. But listening to all these, I'm like, your vocals are punching through so hard. It's really quite the experience, and I was listening to it while working out just because it's that makes the most sense to like listen to it in that moment when I'm like trying to like get hyped, you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
doing your music video, I was first of all, the trees, that whole thing, so fucking funny. How was your experience recording that?
Because I've made like all my music videos in the past and shit, right? Like just completely like by myself, me and my best friend that he lives in the same town here. We just like did all that shit. He would help me shoot it on like our iPhones or whatever. Um, so with this one, we copped a nice camera, and then the earliest version of Sucker Punch that I was telling you, that was pretty flat, and I was like whatever, but it was cool. You could see the idea there. I sent it to my friend Blake, and I was like, I want to do a music video for this, but I don't know what to do because I don't want it to be just like some boring like boxing video or some shit, anything that could have been like that. And then he sent me, I don't know how he thought of that. Just like I go into the woods and get my ass beat by trees, and then they kill me and I become a tree person and my face is on an apple. Like I don't know. That was him, and then I kind of just like pieced it together. And then he sent me that idea in like January, and I didn't shoot it until like June. And then we shot like half of it because I didn't have the tree costumes yet, and I was just like being lazy, whatever. And then we finished shooting it in September when Riley came to visit me. I got all the costumes and I planned everything out and I did all that shit. So that's like, I don't know, the longest time before shoots, and I don't think I finished editing it until like the end of December. Most of that might be because I'm lazy, but it was a lot. The day we shot it in September, we were gone like the whole day. It was pretty gnarly, and then we still didn't even finish it then. We had to come back on my birthday, and I had to get buried in dirt for that one shot where I'm just in dirt.
What a great way to spend your birthday.
Honestly, that's all I did. Got covered in dirt.
That's awesome. So you said that, did you edit it yourself?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool. So how do you manage doing all these things at once? Like, figuring out how you want to film the video, not to mention the song itself, and then going into editing. Like, do you have to juggle all these hats at once?
Well, my album and like all these songs have been done since like June. I've just been sitting on shit. And then, so yeah, we finished shooting it in September, and I really didn't have anything to do. I was just being lazy. Editing it, I mean, I did have a little help. My friend Adrian helped me with the karaoke text, and he did put my face on the Apple, the VFX. But yeah, the rest of the shit I did, and I just slugged it out. It's fun because while I'm editing it, like I get more ideas. 'Cause I think we had to go back and shoot like one or two more times just to like get it perfect, right? And yeah, editing is so much fun. I love the like all I can do with that and the expression of it. Just like I start with one idea and then it just turns into like something completely different.
Editing seems like such an art form in itself, and I don't think most people really think about it like that if you're not doing it. Like, I haven't really edited a film or a music video or anything like that, but I do edit this podcast, and just doing even little things like, oh, this part's kind of awkward, I gotta, chop it up. And I've been involved with the editing process of my own music videos, and it's amazing. Like, you just think about, oh, like when you go to film it, you have the storyboard, you're gonna just do this, and that, and then you get into the editing section, and there's really like an unlimited amount of possibilities that you could do.
Yeah, totally. I totally agree. I just like learn new techniques and shit, or like I fuck up and it like makes something crazy, and then it just like sparks a totally new idea.
Regarding this Sucker Punch music video, were there any lessons you learned throughout the whole process that you'll take into the next one?
I like working with people on videos. Like I said, my friend Adrian helped me a little bit. And I also learned there's like people way better than me at editing videos, and I have some really good friends, so I might look for more help next time. Like the MDMA video, the new one, or the video for Leader. Um, that was done completely by my friend, Io Deji. He's a genius. I shot that all myself on my camera because I was just like bored one day, and then he just turned it into a fucking movie.
Yeah, collaborating with people is so huge, and that took me a while to learn to like be comfortable with allowing other people to kind of get involved in your own stuff, because that can be pretty scary to let other people have a hand in it when you think you know exactly what you want. But there's really a lot to be learned from having other people bring in a new perspective, I think.
Totally, yeah. I've tried to surround myself with like some really great artists, right? I have friends that can do like almost anything. Like if I need guitar, I have a guy for that. If I need art, I have a guy for that. And they're all like great at what they do, right? Because they focus in on that one thing. So that will like always be better than me because like music is what I do, right? And I like can sing and maybe rap a little bit, but like specialists are very important, and I've learned that they know what they're doing. And like I said, these people have been like great friends of mine too, so they know how my little mind works, and I know them, and I trust them totally.
It's so important to have a community who knows what you want and has the best intentions in mind, and just has like a positive mindset when it comes to this stuff, because there's a lot of people who can, like, it's one thing to be focused on your own stuff, but it's another thing to be like just not willing to help someone out because like you want to do like you only want to insert your own opinions into it. And collaboration is a hard thing to really get involved with, I think, if you don't have the right mindset about it, you know?
Yeah, totally. Like I've helped write some songs for my friends and stuff, and that's been like a new thing, and it's been fun because I get to put on like a different hat. Basically, I get to pretend like I'm them and shit, right? So that's cool, and that's like way different than like a feature from me because I'm still myself. I'm just like in this other world, right?
Yeah,
So
and
yeah.
you get to like be a character in somebody else's story for a change.
Exactly, exactly.
So do you have a favorite part of the writing, recording, editing process that you enjoy the most?
For the videos or for the music stuff too?
Mainly for music, but I mean, if the music videos themselves, if that's such an important process to you, then that's also, a fair answer.
Working with Riley is crazy. All of our Skype sessions, like creating something from nothing, basically. And that always like gets me super inspired to like watch him work and stuff because he is like a genius. And it's crazy to see how his mind works and it just like pushes me when I go and like write songs and stuff after that. And then I'll bring it back to him, and then he's inspired by what I did and like blown away by what I did, and we just keep like feeding off each other like that.
That's amazing. It's so important to have that person, and sometimes it only needs to be one person who really believes in you that way and who you feel like the exact same way about. It has to be such a 50-50, energy giving there, or like 100%, not even 50-50, like 100.
Yeah, man. Like he totally believes in me and like trusts me to do my thing, and I feel the same way about him. And also my friend Nick Dapp, who does all my art and everything too. He always inspires me. He's like a wizard too. Him and Riley are just like different on how they create their art shit, and it's like so inspiring that I get to like work with them and like see all the behind the scenes of like what they're doing, and like I get to see it like start from nothing, basically from the ground up.
And that's a huge learning experience for you, to be able to see something turn or nothing turn into something.
Oh yeah, like it's and I've known these kids for like years too, and to just see them like get better and better and like significantly better is crazy. Like they outdo themselves like every time, and it still blows me away.
I heard this phrase that's like something like you're only as good as the five people you hang out with the most. And if you're around those people for years and years, you get to see how they mature and how they get better. And that's only a reflection of how far you've come and how far you can go, I think.
Yeah, totally. Like I've always I saw something in these kids when we were all little, and we became friends, and it's all paying off. They're doing their thing. They're honestly geniuses. Riley and Nick inspire me, and they blow me away. And all my friends, really, we've all grown, and we like push each other, and that's why I think our art continues to be like like better and better every time because we continuously try to outdo ourselves and each other.
That's so cool. I think that's a great note to end the first section of this episode on, and we'll just take it over to the last five. Well, I'll ask you five quick questions, and we'll be done.
Cool, sounds good.
Number one is Logic or Ableton?
Ableton. I'm in Ableton. Riley's in Logic.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, so I mean Ableton. Riley just knows how to use Logic. That shit is like fucked though. I don't know.
You don't fuck with
Definitely
it?
Ableton. Not really. No.
So why do you prefer Ableton?
I mean, I started using Ableton like when I was like 14 or something, like 15, because I like one of Chance the Rapper's songs. He said like easier than Ableton, and I was like, really? And I just decided to try it. I don't really fuck with Chance anymore, but
Ah,
I got me into Ableton, so Yeah, it's just what I've known and shit.
Yeah, it's just what you're comfortable with, and that's really like what it comes down to. I don't think there's a right answer. It's just whatever feels the most comfortable to you.
Yeah, unless it's FL Studio, because that shit is trash.
Yeah, I've never even attempted that. It looks so confusing to me. Same with Pro Tools. I don't get that either. And that's like industry standard stuff.
Yeah, that's for like the engineers and shit. I don't know how you like create in that for like mixing and mastering. Like, okay, whatever. But I don't know how you create in that.
Yeah, totally agreed. Question number 2 is, what do you think is a perfect album front to back?
Yeezus by Kanye West.
Ooh, I wrote it down because I was like, this new one, MDMA, really reminded me of Yeezus.
That is my guy. One of my favorite artists. Him, Tyler the Creator, and Maddie Healy.
Oh, damn, yeah. What a trio.
You can see Maddie's right here, and I have
That's
my wall
fun.
of Tyler.
I was going to ask you who that was because that poster looked familiar, but I couldn't read the text. So that's the 1975?
That's the 1975. That's blonde Frank Ocean. Just looks black right now. And that's Jeff Buckley. Got this one, Kevin Abstract.
Oh, okay.
Childish Gambino, and J. Paul.
All great choices there. So you would say maybe all of them have at least one perfect album front to back?
No, probably just Kanye West. Probably just Kanye and Tyler, probably.
Which one? Igor?
Yeah, probably Igor. Wolf is my favorite. That's my favorite album of all time, but I don't think it's perfect.
Gotcha. Interesting. So, but no skips?
Yeah,
maybe a couple.
On Wolf?
Yeah.
Oh, there's a couple skips, but it's still my favorite of all time.
I think Yeezus has no skips for sure.
None. My favorite song is Send It Up. I love that song with King Louie. Oh.
I haven't listened to it in a long time. I'm going to have to go back. It was actually the first Kanye album I listened to front to back because I was so late to the game, like very late, clearly.
You know what? I might be right there with you, honestly. I wasn't big on Kanye until Yeezus, and then I just like fell back into everything, obviously. I have an 808s poster right here too.
Oh, nice.
But yeah, Yeezus, it's like 10 tracks too. It's just cut to perfection. Oh my God.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful.
Amazing. Question number 3 is, who's your dream artist or producer to work with? Obviously, it sounds like Kanye's in there.
Yeah, him and Tyler, that's kind of intimidating though. Him and Tyler might be too intimidating. Like Maddie Healy could be really cool to work with.
Yeah.
J. Paul as a producer, that would be sick. Love to work with David Byrne from Talking Heads.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
Yeah, and like, I mean, shit, yeah, all those guys as producers too.
I try to guess at a couple people who I feel like the guest might enjoy working with, and the two I have are Gene Dawson. I don't know if you know him.
Yeah, I love Gene.
I think he's
That would be cool.
amazing. Pixel Bath was one of my favorite albums of
Great
2020.
record. Oh yeah.
Sucker Punch actually kind of reminds me of God damn, now I forget the name of it. I'm gonna have to look it up. But it's on that album, and it's probably my favorite. Let me look it up quick.
Bruise Boy?
Yeah, Bruce Boy. Yeah, that's the one. I forget that that's the name because I don't even think he says it in the song. And I'm really bad at remembering songs like that.
Yeah, I know. A lot of his titles are like that. I love him though. He's really cool. One of the handful of like new artists that I listen to a lot.
Yeah, I think he's very forward thinking with how he like blends genres and all that.
Oh yeah.
And then the other artist I had was Brockhampton.
Those are my guys, man. Yeah, I've been a fan of Ian and Kevin Abstract like for a very long time after he dropped MTV. I got these these posters were for his like solo tour that I went to. I drove.
Oh, that's amazing.
Me and my homie drove to Detroit to see him from Cleveland during that shit. And yeah, I'm a big fan of him.
That's so cool that you got to see him live. I haven't seen any of them live, but I feel like Kevin would just be such a great person to watch live. Like, just his energy is ridiculous.
Yeah, and like to see him grow too,
Mm-hmm.
and to like what he is now is crazy. And I've met him like twice as well. He is a genius.
So question number 4 is, what's on your musical rotation right now?
Damn, what am I listening to right now? Let me pull some shit up.
Pull up Spotify.
This guy CF, he just put out his album. It's fantastic. Porter Robinson, his new record is really good. I haven't found like much new music recently, and I kind of feel bored. But so I've just like been listening to the same shit, like Baby Keem, Baby Cody, and then like Kanye. I always go back to Kanye.
Nice. My friends just did a song with Baby Cody, which is funny that you just bring him up.
Really, I'm a huge fan of him too.
Yeah, they are too, which is funny. He like texted me. He's like, "Bro, you will not guess who we just got." And I honestly didn't even know who he was. Like, I just don't listen to that much, like of that kind of music. But he was so hyped, so I was excited for him.
That's crazy. I wish I had more rapper friends, because I have a lot of friends that like sing and shit like that. And when I'm looking for features, like I don't want some kid that's like does the same shit that I do or can do on a song, right? And yeah,
you want to switch it up.
Oh yeah, I want to be his friend. I would like to be his friend.
Yeah, see, that's really the most important thing too. So the last question here before we're out is, what color are you dyeing your hair next?
Ooh, honestly not sure. I might have to do the red with the yellow stars again.
I thought that was sick.
Thank you. I might have to do that again. Right now, I did it for like the Man on Fire. It's kind of faded now, but I made it look like it was like lava or on fire.
Yeah.
Or like red and like yellow and shit. But I might have to do the stars again. Honestly, kind of bored of that though. And for my next thing, when I start dropping music from like after this album, I think I want to do like some mix of like black, blue, and purple.
Ooh, okay.
Some darker tones, yeah.
Interesting. I could see a nice zebra print as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
I would be down for that, man.
Yeah, you gotta keep me updated with your next hair dyeing session.
For sure. Oh yeah, you'll see it, man.
You gotta make a whole music video out of it. Why not? Or at least story the whole thing.
Honestly, yeah, I've never done that. I don't know. I'm just lazy, honestly. But yeah, maybe I will.
Josh Mason, thank you for joining me for an episode of On That Note. I was incredibly excited to have you on the show. Like I said, Sucker Punch has been on repeat for the last week. I'm so pumped for the world to hear your new song, MDMA, which by the time people listen to this interview, it will be out. Josh Mason Superstar, your new album will be coming out very soon. I'm really hyped, and everybody's got to go follow you on Instagram at Josh Mason. And I think that's right, at Josh Mason.
Hi, Josh Mason.
At Hi Josh Mason. There you go. But yeah, man, thanks again for coming on the show. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me, man. I had a great time.
Awesome.
You.
I'm glad you did. And yeah, dude, I'll talk to you later.
Awesome. Sounds good.
See you, bro.
See ya.
Thank you again for joining me for another episode of On That Note with Parker Whirling. If you haven't yet, please make sure to like and subscribe on YouTube and Apple Podcasts, and you can even leave a comment down below to let me know who you're listening to. On that note, I'll see you guys next time.
And I'm not a perfect human being. Tell me what you want, what you really, really want from me. Like where we going, baby? It's getting darker and harder to see. Can I have a sip of my water? Just put it in my drink.